Alrighty, we are back this week. If y'all hear something in the background, it's my husband's TV, so apologies for that. But welcome to Down for the Count podcast. We are going to be talking about a few things that have been happening through these internet streets. Okay, we're going to talk about Elimination Chamber. We're going to talk about this ridiculous episode of NXT this past week. It was nuts. We're going to talk about the WWE ID titles, what that means for the indies, or at least what we want it to mean. And then we'll do a little bit of Black history in wrestling because it's Black History Month and Black history is American history. You need to understand that. All right. We have a special guest. Don is here. Alexis is out for the week. And y'all know Janae. We love Janae. She pops in every now and then, but we love her and we wish her well. But Nicole is here and Donnie is here this week. So say hi, people.
Hello.
What's its loss? That's what's up in German.
I can't with him. Please. Okay.
Keep you on
So
your toes.
NXT was interesting. It was a little wild this week. There were a few things that happened on the show. That squad that's been running around attacking people did rear their heads again. The tag team division was completely decimated, and Robert Stone was attacked. Ava's office was destroyed, and written on the walls was "No one is safe." It's a lot going on. Not only that, but if you care, Moose, that's not our order. Hold on a second, y'all.
Oh shit.
No. Hold tight. This isn't our order.
You don't
Where's
even
the
bring it back
receipt?
right, Cat. What are you doing? I
You
can't
have
play fetch and you bring in
Tay.
2
Here,
inches.
here, because that's not it. We need to call him back because that's not the order. Hold on, y'all. I'm having a bit technical difficulties here. Okay, so this was the order.
2 medium pants.
I don't
Yeah.
know what the fuck that is.
Oh, okay.
What happened?
So she needed
Oh,
the
you watching
2
basketball?
Yeah, Gerard
I
is.
don't watch hockey, but I put on hockey because apparently niggas has been fighting. So, and I heard it's lit, and then us as a nation should watch the support. So
Did
this
they
is
come
going
back?
through it.
Okay, great. Because I was gonna call. Any whoosies. All right. So back to what I was saying. Y'all make sure your TVs are turned down.
I
Oh,
am on mute.
can you hear my TV?
Something is
Uh-oh.
playing in the background. Okay,
It's
yours is
me. The
good.
only thing in my background is this cat, unfortunately.
It's probably
No,
me.
I didn't hear a
And I
cat. It
can't
was
do
Donnie's
anything
TV.
about that.
Roy's fine. Cat's fine. It was a TV. I heard it. And you
Okay.
say yours was on mute. It was just Donnie. So he turned it down. It's cool. All right. We're getting started. Sorry, I had an issue. Today's AJ's birthday and he wanted pizza. I ordered it and you
Period. Okay,
motherfuckers,
Pisces.
they gave me the wrong order and I was gonna get off here and cut somebody out, but they came back.
Okay.
So
You know who else is a Pisces as we're going into NXT? Um
good.
Ricky, what is
Ricky
his
Saints.
Saints?
Oh,
Ricky
come cry on
Saints is
my
the
shoulder.
He's
Pisces.
a Pisces.
Oh wow, that explains it.
Yeah, that actually I was like, oh, you make sense now.
Right. So speaking of Ricky Saints now is AKA he was Ricky Starts and now he is Ricky Saints. Hello, Jonelle. How are you? Ricky Saints has signed his NXT
Are we
contract. And
live?
now, yes, we're live, honey.
Oh shit.
We're live.
Oh,
Yes, babe, we're live.
I had no
Not
idea. Hey guys.
not only has he signed his contract, but he read not one but two NXT superstars. Ethan Page got tore up, ate down, and then got busted in the mouth by Javon Evans and ran out the arena. And then Wesley came out and got tore up and was crashing out as Ricky Starks signed his contract and did his pose. This is the best fucking meme I've ever seen in my life. If you ever want to see what unbothered is, just
He is so
The
light
only
skinned.
thing I want from him
He's
is
so
to
light
just
skinned.
hit
It's
it
crazy.
slower and longer.
oh, you like him to hit it
Oh,
slow.
yeah, hit it slower and longer so it have like a effect. Cause he just do it.
That
It'd be like 1, 2, 3, and then he'd be that. I'm like, no, I need you to hold it for like 7. I need
no,
it 10 seconds.
give us the slow mo,
Let us
the
bask.
slow
Yeah, let
mo.
us bask
Damn,
in it. You know,
I
put
was
the
like, give
power
us the slow
behind
mo.
it.
Damn, we get the nice little John Morrison slow mo for the
Yeah,
one
that's what he
time.
need.
I said, okay. So, Jonelle said that he was doing good. How are you doing? Everybody is fine. We're doing great.
I wonder what his gear. I wonder if he has had time to get new gear made because all of his gear says
Say Stark
Starks
on it.
on the back.
Yeah, he gonna have to.
So I don't
That's
know
a
who be
quick
doing his gear,
turnaround.
but they need. Hopefully, they already been
They
working on some
started.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
So
I was thinking about that. I think I on NXT whatever NXT aired, and I was like, all of his gear says Starks.
mhm.
He better go see if he can get a Saints Row logo and don't use the game no more.
Bet period.
Someone who was I think it was Cam. I can't think of his last name on Twitter, and he was like Saints Row, and I was like, if that's a thing, I would absolutely love that. Just all the black people who
Mm-hmm.
are Ricky fans and all in the section who just so happen to be in a similar or same section, be like we Saints Row, and I was like, I would love, and I was like,
Oh, I
that's what I
would
was thinking.
live.
I would love that.
That's amazing. Janelle said, could you see Ricky Starks be a North American champion down the line? Of
I think he's
course.
gonna be NXT champion. I think they're just
I can
gonna.
see it happening tomorrow, honestly.
I think they're gonna hit. And I hate because I hate this man so much, but like I said, like during my napish, because I thought I was getting sick this morning. So
Mm.
like I made broth, I like chugged a whole bunch of broth, I took a whole bunch of medicine, and I knocked myself out for literally half the day. So I was just having you and you know like when you play like sometimes when you hit certain videos on YouTube like they just keep playing like similar ones.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and also because I have like YouTube Premium, so I had like, and I think I said it in a group chat. It was like some interview that he did like last year when they were in New Orleans,
Yeah.
and I never heard his accent. I never thought he had like a New Orleans accent still until like I was listening. I was like, "Who's that talking?" I was like, "Wow," and I was like, "He really still has that accent still." And
Mhm.
then fucking like a clip from like JD from New York or whatever came up, and he was talking, and before like I really fell asleep, and he was talking about like the presentation difference between like him and Jade, and like how vastly different it was, but how it works for each person. And he was like, for Jade, he was like they did like the red carpet rollout and like the ESPN and like all this other shit had her everywhere. And for him, he was like they left a mystique to it, even though, and they were like, and similar to like the Scott Hall, even though you know it's not exactly the same, but similar to when he popped up, but
Yeah.
reworked it to fit him. And how they know what they have, and they were like they don't need to do no ESPN fucking launch or X, Y, and Z. They know the commodity that they got, so he's just gonna hit the ground running. They were like, we just
Yeah.
gonna let him work, and so we don't need to do all that. So what's the point? What's the point of doing all of that when his work is gonna end up speaking for itself?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, that's a really good point. And
But
I was
he
like, I
also
hate that
said
I
that
agree
at
that with that man.
he
Oh
said
no,
that on
Chris
Chris Van
B.
Blight. Yeah, he said
Yeah, he did.
I don't have to advocate for myself too much because my work speaks for itself. Like just watch and you gonna see me. You gonna see me where you see me at.
Yeah.
Is it it?
And I did
My
listen to
husband,
that
Ricky
busted
Saints.
and I did listen to that busted open interview that he did after too.
He did one this week.
Yeah. Is because Bully has that Busted Open After Dark,
Okay.
but he's I don't think he has uploaded the video for it, but it posted like that night.
Mm.
And it was like he talked to Ricky, and he was basically like, okay, he asked him about the name change, and then he was basically like a way to pay homage to like his home, and he was like he was like the closest you can get to Ricky Starks without technically being Ricky Starks, but he was like he likes it, and he was like he appreciates like how like fans are so passionate and probably are, and like want whatever to keep shit the same, but he was like, what, it is what it is. And then he talked about, and then
It
basically
honestly
talked
sounds
about
better.
like all of like talked about like him and Taker, because like during, I don't know if you guys seen a clip, but there was a clip during like when him and Taker were filming Busted Open After Dark, and they had a monitor, and then Undertaker was like, that's Ricky. And then but Bully's like, huh? And then that was when Ricky like came out of the audience and shit like that. And then he literally, and then Undertaker like tells a story about him, how he's known him for like whatever, about how they used to work out the same gym, and like because Ricky did like a shit ton of extra work for WWE for like years, and like how
Yeah.
he's known him from that. Tell him how I was talking about how like great of a kid he was, and how he's like so happy for him, and like blah 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 blah. And then Ricky like goes on to talk about that, and then talks about like his stance with Taker. And then he was saying like one of the conversations that he had with Taker, he was like, if I ever get signed, he's like, if I ever get signed to WWE, like I'm gonna buy you a drink or I'll buy you a shot or whatever. And he was like, Bully was like, oh my god, he's like, can I be there when you do that? He's like, sure. He was like, he's like, I'll get you taken care of
You
too.
are done talking.
He's like, well, post it about. He's like, whatever. And so Bully asked him, okay, obviously the golden question, what happened? And then he was like, so he basically goes on to like reiterate, and he has done this a couple times, and I think we talked about it. He did that on Chris Van Vliet. It had nothing to do with like his appearance at Royal Rumble and Mania. And he was saying how he was given permission from Tony, and he was like, and told him like, yeah, you're good to go, like blah blah, it's cool. And he was like, so if he's like, so he was like, he's like, it's not that, because he specifically told me, was like, oh yeah, you're cool, like go, that's no problem. He's like, that's a-okay. He was like, so he's like, it might be a thing. He was like, even though he told me, he's like, I don't know if it's something like in hindsight, he was like, and like, changed his mind about. He's like, I don't know, but from what we've had conversation about that, I was given the okay. He was like, the thing is, and he was like, there were veterans who basically put their nose in his creative when they shouldn't have been.
Here we go.
And then and he was like, okay. And then Bully, he was like, you know what, he's like, I don't need to name names. And he was like, and if someone feels like this hit them, they can more, he's like, you have my number, you can text me about it if you feel some type of way about this, and we could talk it out. But he was like, it's that. And he was like, and it's the fact that he was like, obviously he's like, they're veterans. He was like, if I didn't fit into what they wanted me to exactly do, and I wasn't game for it, then he was like, obviously I got the booth. So he was like, I think, and he was like, I think it was like a combination of a couple things, but he was like, I think that was like a good chunk of it. And then Bully asked, about him asking for his release, like whatever time ago that he did. And because Bully was like, I just want to understand like the mindset behind it. Cause he was like, he was talking like like him and Devon, he was like, we have never like asked for our release for somewhere. He was like, especially back then, that never was like a thing. So he was like, so what brings you to the point where you're like, you know what, I done what I can, I have to like release. And I kind of don't remember this part, because again, I was like playing this as I was going, this was going as I was like going to sleep. But he like touches on that, and then basically was just like, you know what? He was like, you know what? It is what it is. And then he was like, yeah, he was like, obviously, he's like, everything turned out for a reason, and he was like, it turned out, and it brought me here. So he's like, can't get mad at the journey.
Well, there you have it.
Yeah. I do think it was whatever dumb fucking name he's calling himself over there, and Jericho.
Who's the other person?
Edge. What is he called over there? Cope
It
or
was
whatever his
Cope.
dumb fucking name.
Rated
I
R
do
Cope.
think because you remember
It's
that one
Cope.
promo, because he stopped being on TV after that promo.
Yeah.
And I feel
Yeah.
I don't remember if that was at Toledo, because I remember I attended a show around that time. So I think I don't know if it was that week. I think they were in Toledo for that.
I want to ask
I
about
hope it. I
I need to
hope
look it up
was.
because I like remember seeing something like that in person. I feel like they were at that. Hold on, let me find that, because I feel like that was the show I went to.
That exchange that Cope and
Yes.
Ricky Starks had. Yeah, he called him. I think he called him the slur for a little person. And then
He called him. Oh, he
A
said
midget?
something. Oh, he said something, and then Ricky called him bug-eyed, and then he called him a vanilla like midget rock riff off or some shit like that. And then he started laughing, and he was like, "Oh wow, that really sent me over the edge." And then
oh god, Ricky was just like, wow.
yeah, he was like, "That's such low hanging fruit." Like,
it is low hanging fruit. It is.
Mm.
I'm trying to find it.
It was an interesting exchange.
But it's, you know what though? It just takes. That's what the new generation is here for. You ain't finna keep talking to me fucking crazy. Cause y'all always say, I've been here before, kid. I don't give a fuck. I don't care.
Honestly, if
You should have
we're
stayed
being
where you were
fair, like,
at.
yeah, if you're
Cause
gonna
you're in my
cut
space taking up my
promos,
time, and you're not doing shit with it. You're boring.
like,
You're washed.
not you're boring. If
Tell
you're
me
gonna
last
cut
time you've been
promos,
entertained by Edge since he left.
Baby, I can't.
All right.
I haven't watched the Edge match since he left, honestly.
I mean, he's not doing that great. It's not good. It's like, what's the point? Like, what was the fucking point
I will
of you
say
going over?
this.
Like, you might as well should have
After
retired.
he did what he did with Christian or Cage, whatever the fuck you want to call himself too.
It's Christian, right?
It was Christian.
That's it. That was interesting, but after that was done, I didn't hear nothing else about him.
Christian got a rinse and repeat type of thing going on too. Everybody he
Love
goes
rinsing and repeating.
they ain't shit.
I can't find where they were at. Hold on, let me just. Google
But you know,
it,
their
'cause
thing
looking on
is,
YouTube.
once they have something that's hot, they want to keep using it, and they don't
Yeah,
realize when it
but
gets stale.
it don't apply to everybody. like you being the patriarchy do not apply to everybody, babe. But anyways, NXT was good. They picked the number one contender for Stephanie's championship.
Woo woo.
Carmen won.
She got jumped though.
And she got beat up. Carmen
And
got
that
beat
might
up
beat
quite
somebody
a
up
few
and getting
times.
jumped.
Right. Like Carmen got beat up a few times, but she held her own in this match with Jada and Kaylani. But Carmen was getting her ass whooped. Her man was trying to help her, but
let me say this. If I'm your boyfriend, I don't care what's going on. I'm your boyfriend, and I'm sitting here, you getting jumped. Bitch, I'm coming in swinging for you. I'm laying JC out. I'm laying Fallon out. I'm laying the other girl out because I don't know her name for real, Jasmine. All of y'all all getting laid out. Per me.
Oh.
Because what y'all thought this was?
The girls had a lot going on. She was getting jumped. They came to her rescue, Stephanie and Julia, but they needed a third.
It was in Toledo.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, because I was like, I remember, because I was thinking, I remember not hearing part of it. And I remember I had to watch it back. I was like, I could see myself there. I was like, I feel like I was there because I remember the security guards and all this stuff. And sure enough, I was there.
Mm.
I like distinctly, I need to find the pictures from that because I heard the Set Over the Edge and then I heard the vanilla part, but I couldn't hear the first part because everyone was like, oh, and I was like, what? Love that. I love how I'm part of Ricky's lore.
Sure.
Oh, don't start,
Don't
Donnie.
be mad.
Oh, I'm not bad. Best to believe.
I can't.
Please.
Please.
So we got Carmen getting her shot. She got jumped. Up coming
That
out to
was
save her
crazy. That whole thing pissed me off. Everything about that
along with
pissed me off.
Because why would y'all do that? Y'all need better timing. Y'all could have moved that opening segment to the middle of the show.
Yeah,
Because
like
I didn't
what
have to
was
give a
it?
fuck
You
about
don't even,
moves.
and I don't even think I've seen a clip of what the fuck Fallon said.
We don't know.
we don't know what Fallon said.
We
They
don't
didn't
know what
even
she
put that on
said.
the internet.
Probably along the lines of, you are here looking for a number one contender and I ain't get my rematch yet. I'm still coming for you. Da 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 da.
I don't know why you thought you was gonna be so special. The rest of the damn former champions had to earn their number one contendership. So do you, bitch.
Child, you're not even interested.
You're gonna have to fight for yours too.
And then I'm mad because I actually I liked you. It was time you went heel, but you didn't need a group to do this. You didn't need you. If you was gonna be in the group, you shouldn't have been lead. I don't even know how you ended up being lead. Cause you're not
I don't
giving.
know, but if I was JC, I'd have punched her in the face and be like,
I
girl,
would
you
have
are
been.
not it.
I would have clocked that bitch. Bitch, you made us lose. We lost our shit. It's okay. Jesse's gonna be the one to turn again.
I hope she do, honestly. But this led to Fallon cutting a promo that we didn't get to see or hear. By the time it came back to commercial,
bitches was fighting
Stephanie
again.
It was a mess.
already out there. They was fighting, and Jordan came out there to even the odds. Now, this led to the main event being Jordan, Julia, and Stephanie versus Fatal Influence.
Which is good,
from
but
what
I missed
I
5
hear,
minutes.
it was a good match.
Yeah, my Wi-Fi had cut off. We gotta get that shit fixed.
From what I hear, it was a good match. Jordan had a really big, strong showing in that match. Yes. She looked great. And I love her bangs. I know the Sabrina Carpenter look is what everybody's going for, but it looks really good on Jordan. It frames her face right.
It does.
She looks really good. I love it.
That's a good wig, sis.
Yeah, it's very good. If it is, it's very good.
When she did
no,
bangs,
it is the wig.
Even when she was in her thicker days.
It's the wig for real?
I still like her bangs though.
I'm pretty
I
sure
love her hair. I think she should cut her hair like that for real. She really should. And just get some pieces. And please, for the love of God, layer them. Okay? I know some of y'all white women have a hard time.
Liz, now, we love you, sis, but bitch, please cut some damn layers.
Please.
In that head. Don't jump down my neck now. But Julie,
we're not trying to be funny, but for real.
Yeah, I mean, Julia's hair is not layered either.
Yeah, that wig. I'm almost positive that's a wig too. I feel like 80% of them wear wigs.
Her leave out on top.
She must have a U part in then.
Yeah.
She got a U part in. She got a unit on because it's under her natural hair. Yeah. And it's
because her hair is still. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's grown since then, but she cut her hair very, very, very short.
Yeah,
I want to say
see it
like a year ago, like not like a year, maybe a year and a half ago, if that much. I'm like, so her hair is not that long yet. So I was like, that's something in that head.
I just want y'all to cut layers in your hair. That's all. I know it seems like it's a really petty request, but honestly, just visually, it lays better. It looks nice, and it doesn't look so heavy. Charlotte does that sometimes too with her hair.
Yeah.
I just
I mean,
need
for us
y'all
black boys and gays and girls, like, just do
and
it.
yes,
Like, this the only problem I got with y'all. Y'all be
that's
dressing
it.
down, but the hair just don't be hairing. It's giving
Yeah.
2009, and I don't like it.
Yeah, yeah, and I just want you to elevate yourself. They got all types of shit. They got micro links. You can get sew-ins. You can wear a wig now. If you're gonna wear
Y'all
a
got
wig, do
money.
like
Y'all better
Dakota
ask
do.
somebody.
Do like
Shit, you
Dakota do.
got
Go get the
Dakota
wig
got a
layer.
great wig.
okay.
Right? Her wigs be hitting and they be layered. They don't all be looking all weird and shit. They look like it's her hair. Like just do me a
Lash
solid
got
and
some good
just do
hair.
that.
Jakari
Yeah.
has good hair when she not overusing it, but
Child.
she got good hair.
Lash hair is awesome. It always has been. I ain't never had no
Mhm.
issue with lash hair. Nikita, I need you to put some pieces in your hair.
If
Okay,
you gonna be a
I
bad
need you.
bitch, do it correctly.
Yeah, you can have curly hair. Your hair curly and naturally is not. It's fine. It's
Let me
just you
tell you
real
how we
thin.
should rebrand this if she want to be a true bad bitch. Okay,
Oh God,
she
I
need to
don't want
have
to help her.
40 inches, nothing less.
I don't want to help her. No, because that's even worse.
That's
No,
worse.
She need to have 40
no,
inches, nothing less.
no, Don. No, give her a
Cause ain't
fuck
nothing
ass
else gonna
bob.
work.
No, give
A
her a
sleek
fuck
bob
ass
will work
bob.
too. A sleek bob
Give
will
her
work
that.
too. Shoulder length,
Give her
nothing
a
less.
bob.
But it just
Nope,
has to be
I'm
done.
tired.
It should never be curly. It has to be sleek and straight every time. Every time.
I feel like she should change her hair color.
Get a new look.
I think that is too. It looks like
It look,
brittle.
yeah,
What would you say? Like a
I think she should do like
brown, brunette?
no, that's
like
too. I
strawberry
would do like
blonde,
a
something red.
gingerish.
Yeah, something
I would
red.
do
Mm.
like a dark ginger,
Yeah, you said deep auburn.
Mm.
like a roasted red pepper.
There you go.
Like a chestnut kind of thing?
Yes, like very
I'm seeing it.
like a deep red that sometimes you looks a little brown, but not brown all the time, just a little
I'm
bit brown.
Yeah,
seeing it. I'm
it's got
seeing
that
it.
nice medium. That nice
Mm-hmm.
medium.
And she
Where
needs
you
to
had
switch
that
to like a
like that
top and a
reddish
bottom. No
hue.
more one pieces.
No. No, and I
With this
do
fucking
you know
sailor
what?
outfit she got on.
I don't mind the one pieces, but it's just she gotta find a new style for it.
It has to. It has to fit the character. Like what she has on now, it don't fit. I'm like, you giving pirate. That's what I see
And
every time
I
I look
feel
at
like
you.
if you're gonna be calling her like if you're gonna be Nikita Lion, then you know,
Something has you
I,
have to be the gear has to be abrasive and it's not.
I think she should wear a high waisted bottom and then just wear like a bra
Yes,
type
a little
gear.
bralette. Yeah.
Yeah, because I just don't like the gear. It's not bad gear, but it
It just
does
don't fit
nothing.
for her.
No, and I'm just like I don't get what you're trying to sell me. Is my point. It
Cause it's
just
all over the
doesn't.
place. This shit is in different areas. It don't make sense.
I don't want to help her.
I want to help so I can watch it. I just want
I
to
do
get you on and out the way. But you be sitting
because
in the
it
middle of my
makes me
TV
so
just
mad.
doing
Because
stuff.
you know what makes me mad about it is like she can do this, and she could be ratchet and ghetto and hood adjacent. But
Mm-hmm.
Lash and Jakara do it, and they are the bane of everybody's existence. And I really hate that.
I don't
And I
I
understand
look
really
that.
at it
hate
and I
that.
don't see it. I don't see hood. I see uppity bougie bitches.
I
That's what I
really hate that.
see.
That was like she just loud, like Lash just loud. She just ghetto. Like when
She's
she
not
walk in the room, she
ghetto.
just be
She's
like,
not ghetto.
I'm like, that's not loud and that's not ghetto. Nikita is ghetto.
Okay.
Nikita is ghetto. I ain't never seen Lash walk into a room trying to talk to a nigga. And then when she leaves, she bouncing her titties out the damn room. Who does that?
Ghetto
Back
bitch.
is aching, her bra too tight, her booty
Yeah,
shaking
like
from the
she's
left to the
like,
right.
ugh, like she's like like it hurts her body to carry her fucking
It do look
titties.
like
Well,
she
like
hit
you
her to
fucking
walk.
dumb bitch.
I feel like I feel like in the next Bad Stand and Deliver, they should be breaking up. That's what I feel like.
Who?
Fatal Influence. Johnny L
Yeah.
said that he hopes they split up Fatal Influence
They
in
do
the next
because,
couple of months.
and
Because it's
if you
just it ain't
haven't, you should
working.
listen to our last episode. As I talk
Yeah.
about, we talked about, you know,
How it don't work.
mm,
No.
It
no,
didn't
about
work from the
how
get go to begin with. Because of
No,
that
it
very
didn't.
reason.
But like me and Nicole did say that had JC been at the helm of it,
It'd have
things
been
might be
even
different.
balanced.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been mad about it. And honestly, she's do that.
that's what I said. She's my up next girl.
Yeah. Well, NXT was a solid show. And next
Mm-hmm.
week is going to be even bigger. You got Lexus King being in his hometown, I think, in
Mhm.
Cincinnati. He's going to be defending he's going to be fighting Moose next week.
Yeah, that man.
I'm telling you right now, I'm not going to watch that. So if you
Me
guys
either.
want to hear how I feel about it, you're not going to get that from me. What else is happening next week? Ricky Starks is supposed to have his debut match next week.
Yeah, a tag
Mhm.
match with Javon versus Ethan Page and Wesley, which I feel like they're going to get jumped because Wesley does have backup.
They might, but they're definitely
But he
going to
might
win
get
that.
over.
That's going to
Yeah,
be
they're gonna
Ricky
win
Starks'
the
first
match, yeah.
match. Yeah, but they might get jumped. They might. But then they might get jumped by them new niggas.
I say, I mean that too. That too.
They might. I don't know. They might get their ass tore out from the
I mean,
damn
I would
hounds
say
from
this is how I
hell.
would do it. I would jump them so the match wouldn't even start and
Man,
push it
dead
back
ass.
to PLE.
No facts.
That way he have his debut match on Stand and Deliver, and we wouldn't be mad because we know he can wrestle.
That's true. That's true. But I'm actually looking forward. I'm looking forward to seeing how he acclimates to WWE style, because it can be very hard to do that. A lot of people adjust. It take a long time for people to adjust.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Ricky will be fine. I think he'll be great. All right. So let's talk about AEW Grand Slam. Now, to be fair, I did not watch the show. Okay, I just want y'all to understand that. I went and got the results, but I didn't watch the show because I thought that it was coming on Max. I don't know why I thought that, but I did. I thought that it was coming on Max.
supposed to simulcast
It didn't pop
on
up?
Max.
It did not show up there at all. It was in the middle of the show.
Because the
And I
last
was
one
like,
was on
ooh,
there.
we could watch Grand Slam now. And I went up there. It was not there. The only thing that was there was Dynamite's episode and Collisions. There was no simulcast for AEW Grand Slam on Max. Not one. I was very upset about that because I was like, I thought that we were able to watch the PLEs.
Well, it
You know what I'm
wasn't
saying?
a PLE technically. So that's also the whole rollout for it has just been a fucking mess. Oh my god, the USA score, period. The whole rollout for it, that episode has been weird because originally, like, it was like thought to be a pay-per-view, and that's what it was like getting, like, sort of like, I don't know, like the original sort of rollout, or I don't know, it was just really weird. And then they end up moved to a smaller venue,
Right. It was
and
real
then
small.
also everyone's also confused about the time frame, like, okay, like what the fuck, like what is like airing on. So it was like going to air on TNT, and apparently, which is crazy, I think that's a misfire on then at that end, because they should have simulcasted on HBO Max as well, but it was supposed to air directly after the fucking dunk contest or whatever was on Saturday.
I did not see it on there at all.
Yeah.
Now, I could have missed it, but I did not see it on there. It's supposed to. It was
usually
supposed to
pop up
have
in the little
aired
slideshow.
after the dunk contest, babe. Did it? the AEW Grand Slam come on after the dunk contest?
I didn't
Because
see
we
it.
watched the dunk contest, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we left it on there for a few minutes
They
after that.
showed what's the name's TV show after the dunk contest. I think it was Anthony Davis' TV show.
Yeah, it was Anthony Davis's TV show that aired after the dunk contest. It was his new prank TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Which I do want to watch that. That looks funny.
It probably is. I ain't gonna lie. So let's get into it. First match for AEW Grand Slam was Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega versus the Don Callis family. He went up against what's his name? Takeshita and Fletcher. They lost to Ospreay and Omega. From what I saw in the clips and from what everybody said, this was one of the best matches of the night. It got rave reviews. Yeah, it got rave reviews across the board. Bleacher Report gave it an A+. They said the show started more than 20 minutes late because of the dunk contest, which was interesting. Because like I said, they did not air AEW Grand Slam here in Cleveland. They didn't air the Grand Slam show. They aired unless they put it on TBS.
Yeah.
Because on TNT it was the prank show. So I was mad because I was sitting up here trying to figure out where I can watch it because I really wanted to see Toni Storm and Mariah May. So I was low-key mad about that. But they said that you can always tell when someone spent a lot of time in Japan because their ring jackets are way more ornate than we usually see. So they was talking about their gear. And they said AEW used a slightly smaller ring than usual. So they weren't able to get quite as much speed running the ropes, but the stars were able to make it work. And there were a lot of counters with Ospreay and Fletcher, and they felt like that was a really phenomenal back and forth between Ospreay and Fletcher.
The reason that they also were, the reason that they had the smaller ring was apparently they didn't take into account literally how long even shipping something like large whatever would get to Australia. So they didn't calculate that correctly. So they borrowed a ring from, I don't remember, it's someone that Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay know or wrestled with or whatever. So thank goodness they had that connection. So that's why the ring was a little bit stronger. But people online complaining about that ring are so fucking stupid. Like, bitch, are you out there measuring stuff with a tape measure that you're so fucking worried about a ring being smaller? Like, that just completely derailed your fucking watching experience that you can't appreciate what the fuck is going on. Like, shut the hell up.
Because the match is still the same regardless of ring.
Exactly.
They could have did it without a ring.
They still wrestled well. The match was still great. Like, you are a fucking idiot.
I just thought the ring size, looking at the venue, was just funny.
Yeah, it did look a little bit weird.
It looked crazy.
And zoomed out shots.
But I wouldn't
you know what? They worked what they had.
They still did it. Yeah. They could have canceled the show, but they didn't.
I was like, people was getting on my nerves with that shit.
I mean, if that was the case, I mean, it was a user error. Shit happens. They'll figure it out next time. I mean, I will say they have had, it wasn't like AEW hasn't had any experience going overseas, but going to Australia is a different beast. Yeah. So, y'all got to give them a little grace on that front. Just give them a little bit. All right, Mercedes Moné and Harley Cameron. All right. I didn't like the fact that Mercedes retained. I didn't like that. I know that a lot of people are going to be like, well, she doesn't want to lose. Well, seeing as how that you're a veteran in the game, you should be more concerned about the longevity of the women's division and not just your personal shit. Like, I really wish that you would have given the title to Cameron, not because Cameron has to have the title to build herself up, but because the title now needs someone who's gonna be either have the eyes on them because they're entertaining, or they're going to be a workhorse champion. And you are not a workhorse champion. And I just wish that you were more concerned about the longevity factor long term rather than your personal, padding your resume with belts. I really wish you were more concerned with that. But you're not, unfortunately. During
So
this
sour
match,
about losing.
yeah. During this match, Harley Cameron pulled out her Mercedes Monet puppet, which is fucking funny. I'm sorry. And she got her old hair on it. She don't even have
That
the new
shit is hilarious. She ain't got the new hair. Got that beat up purple ass hair.
The
Oh,
purple
shit.
wig is sending me. But Bleacher Report gave the match a C+. They said that this was Cameron's best match to date. It wasn't a show stealer, but it was a solid match between two people at very different stages in their career. They said Cameron got a great pop for her entrance. They said Cameron has improved leaps and bounds, but you can still see in places where Cameron is not fully confident, but that will come in time. And the crowd was upset that the puppet didn't get kicked into the crowd, but they had a good match nonetheless. I think, and afterwards, Harley Cameron talked about how she was really just grateful to be able to perform in front of a crowd and be in front of her friends and family. She really enjoyed that. So I'm happy for Harley. I wish they still would have pulled the trigger on her. They pulled the trigger on so many other people who weren't necessarily 100% ready. I think that the smart thing to do would have been to give that title to her. And then somebody else could have taken it. Somebody like Deanna. You could have had somebody like Taya Valkyrie and make them a workhorse champion. But either way, you could have set this up so it was a domino effect. And Mercedes can move into different spaces, but you could have set this up so it was a domino effect for someone else to be able to be champion and move into new feuds. But we're stuck.
AEW
So let's move
sends
on.
me because they will pull the trigger on some people. So they're 50-50 will pull a trigger. Either, or I don't even know, whatever a middle fraction is. So whatever. So 30-30-30. So, and not even that. So anyway, so either they wait too long to pull the trigger, which I unfortunately think is going to happen to Harley because that happened
Yeah.
to Jamie Hayter. They
Yeah.
waited way too long. And now, like, what the fuck? Now, like, where is she at now?
Who knows? Did she
Like,
just
she's
come back?
back in, like, the background
Yeah.
again. Like, she's not
She
even
came
on,
back.
like, Collision.
And that's
Nope.
the problem. He be
She
having
came back, had a little
champions and
fight
they
with
be
Penelope.
washed.
She had a
Yeah,
little
like,
fight with
she's
Penelope,
not.
and then that was it. They left her alone.
And she deserved more because Jamie is actually good.
All right.
Yeah, like, it's so, like, I don't know. Like, they just, like, send me when it comes to that. So it's
It's
like, I don't get it.
unfortunate.
And if
Yeah.
y'all do that shit to Eminem, I swear to God, Tony, I'm on your ass.
All right. The Brisbane brawl was between Cope and Jay White, which I didn't understand why that was. Maybe Nicole can explain that. But it was Cope and Jay White against the Death Riders. I am very confused about the Death Riders and this championship. Where is it?
Everyone.
When is
The championship is in that dumb fucking briefcase that that boring lady carries.
I thought
all the
they threw
time.
it away.
Marina?
No, they have it. They never threw it away.
Marina.
It's in the case.
Okay.
What's the point of what they doing?
It's
There's
they're
no
holding
point.
the title hostage for what?
Because they angry?
Okay. All right. So
Shit's I want to be invested. I saw clips of it, and they
I
have.
want to be invested
Not a
too.
single person. Oh God, Rock is gonna be at SmackDown on Friday.
If it's
What?
also,
Oh
it's gonna
God.
be. I mean, shit. They gotta fill in that time anyway. They need something.
Yeah, that
No,
is
like
true.
figure something
SmackDown
else
is.
out.
No, they be drowning. They've been drowning. They only got it together like for 2 weeks. They be
Not if
drowning.
he's not gonna do nothing.
Let him run his mouth for 10 minutes, so we can get it over
Ah.
with.
Yeah, so
Fill in that
I'm.
time instead of dragging these matches out.
Shut up, now. Shut up.
Nah, it be pissing me off.
Okay. They say Marina and Yuta helped the Death Riders gain control, and Moxie eventually won the match by choking Copeland out. And they continued to attack Cope as the crowd chanted its displeasure. This Bleacher Report says that it was a solid match with some good moments, but the crowd was very, very unhappy about the outcome. Bleacher Report
Yeah.
rated the match a B, and they said their notable moments and observations were the crowd singing Cope's music, and it made him emotional. I will say that was a very cool moment. I saw that on social media. They sang the whole song. Even after they cut it off, they sang the whole song, and you could just hear the entire audience singing his song. That's got to feel great. So, love that for you. It says Cope took a big dive from an upper level to the floor. He should be more careful about after what happened after the cage dive.
Why the
What
fuck are
happened
you
with
doing
the
shit
cage
like
dive?
that?
You doing suicide dive still? I didn't know he was still doing that shit.
Why
And it
are you
says
doing that?
AEW needs to have Marina Shafir wrestle more. She is too intimidating to just be muscle for Moxley. Yeah, but I've seen her
Yeah.
wrestle, and I'm gonna say no.
Recently, she still sucked.
Yes,
Oh damn.
yes, I've seen her
She
wrestle.
need to
She's
go ahead and
terrible.
look back up around the child. I
I
will
think
say she
her
got some meat
being,
on her finally. She used to scare me.
I, I think her being Moxley's muscle is a good idea, but her wrestling is subpar at best. I wouldn't put her in the ring.
That's so unfortunate.
She go up against anybody, she's gonna get exposed, especially really good ones like Chris Statlander, Willow Nightingale. People like that are gonna make her look like an amateur.
So essentially, she's just good for the spots.
That's it. Let
Yeah.
her be
Leave her ass where
a
she
really
at.
good, strong ass valet, which is what she doing. Good job, bitch. Don't put her in a ring.
People get
Don't be
noticed
no
for doing
dummy.
that, girl. You be all right.
Now, let us move to Buddy Murphy. Buddy Murphy. Buddy Murphy went up against Okada for the AEW Continental Championship.
I know
Now,
that match was dumb stupid. Oh.
they said that this match was also a B plus.
Mm-hmm.
They said Buddy Matthews put up a good fight, but he was unable to defeat the champion to win the title. Okada hit the Rainmaker to close out a competitive bout. They said that this was a B plus. Like I said, notable moments and observations was Matthews got a big pop from his fellow Australians. It was great to see Matthews finally being portrayed as a threat to someone on Okada's level. Okada was acting like he was going to take his title and leave, was the least convincing use of that moment. And the way Okada hit a flying elbow drop was hilarious. So those were their notable moments from the match. They did say it was a great match, and it allowed both of the men to show off their skill. I think they should have gave it to Buddy Murphy personally.
I think so too.
Now we get into the nitty gritty. Toni Storm faced off against her greatest adversary, Mariah May.
The glamour versus the timeless.
Yeah, timeless Toni Storm. Toni Storm did threaten to rip off Mariah May's tits, but I don't know if she did that, but she did win and beat Mariah May. They say that both women hit their finishers in unsuccessful attempts to win before Storm used an inside cradle to score a somewhat surprising win to regain the world title. The crowd erupted as she was declared the victor, while May looked like she just suffered the greatest loss of her life. They said this was a fantastic way to end the show. Toni Storm defeated Mariah May,
Oh, they were in the main
and
event?
yes, they were.
Lovely.
Yes, so
Yeah, they were.
Bleacher
I was
Report.
very happy about that.
Yeah, Bleacher Report gave them a B plus. They said their notable moments and observation was that Storm's mother made her gear for her for this match. She was in the audience. I did see the clip where Toni grabbed the mic and talked about how she was happy to be there. She got to be there with her family, go to her old stomping ground, and her mom made her gear, which I thought was very, very cute. They said the way Storm hit the guardrail looked very brutal, and Storm used a unique version of the STF that looked more like a reverse regal stretch during the match. So they had some really cool moments in this match. According to Bleacher Report, they say Grand Slam Australia may have had some issues leading to the show, such as people being under the impression that it was a PLE, and that delayed the start time due to the NBA dunk contest, but the show went off without a hitch. All 5 matches met or exceeded expectations, and the Australian crowd had plenty of local heroes to cheer for in various matches. Storm regaining the women's title to become a 4-time champion. She's been champion 4 times.
Congratulations.
Wow.
So this must have been like their main event.
It was.
Okay.
For 4 times is going to be the biggest talking point coming out of the night. But the match that stole the show was Ospreay and Omega versus Fletcher and Takeshita. They opened the night with a tremendous performance that not only made all 4 men look good, but it set up future matches between the 2 sets of rivals. All in all, the show was a big success in terms of entertainment the entertainment value it provided. They gave the overall grade of the show an A-. So shout out to Bleacher Report for the full recap of Grand Slam, because I'm sorry I didn't watch it because I couldn't figure out where it was showing. So my bad. But the show got an A- according to Bleacher Report, and it seems like it was a pretty solid show. They kept the card small, which I was very happy that they did. They had 5 matches, which is I think it's very smart when you're doing, especially a TV special. You want to make sure that you're not wasting time, but you are making it so that it's watchable. And they started with the biggest match on their card with Ospreay and Omega, but they ended with the biggest feud
Elias
on their
showed
card.
up in TNA.
Who?
Oh,
Elias.
Elias.
I don't get that station anymore. That's the only thing I
him.
hate about not having my sling
I know.
the way it was, and I was like, and Access not being on YouTube TV.
So mad that he brought that idea to that man and he gave it to Seth.
What idea?
Monday Night Messiah. And he didn't even want to do it for
idea?
Real.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that either.
That was
what?
Like he had it was supposed to be like a cult thing. And he basically was like he didn't see it for him. But he saw
and Vince gave it to, that's why Seth started the Messiah shit. That's not cool.
And then Seth was basically like he wasn't really like feeling that kind of era.
But you could tell.
You could tell it wasn't resonating with him. Because it didn't, and it at that point in time it honestly fit Elias more. He captivated everybody.
Sense. Yeah.
Walk with Elias.
That would have worked. That would have worked with
had
AOP at the time. Yeah, that's the same thing they did to Vanessa Bourne and Carmella. Which I still say Vanessa Bourne probably could have executed that better.
Mm-hmm.
And that's no shade to Carmella.
She didn't even her thing, but she didn't like it. She's like, I just didn't know like what that was. How could I bring that to the forefront?
Like what was that?
She's like, it just didn't click for her.
And I don't blame her. Plus, she didn't want to go back to the blonde again. And they made her go blonde. She was like, my hair is going to fall out. And I was like, girl,
Yeah, I saw
get a
them pictures. I
wig.
was like, oh my God.
Then she was buying that horrible wig. I said, oh, it's so stiff. Oh, Carmella. I know. Anywhoosies. So we got AEW Grand Slam out the way. Shout out to y'all for having a good match. And I'm happy for Toni Storm. She cut a promo this past Wednesday where she addressed the AEW audience and she addressed the women's locker room. She said, come one, come all. I am not hard to find. She called out some of those women by name. Chris Statlander, Willow Nightingale. She said, if you want a shot or you want to come at me, I'm waiting.
She said, if you want to come face to face,
or tit to tit,
lips
or
to lips.
lips to lips.
It really makes me never mind.
I'm
still waiting for you.
I hope that
okay,
Mercedes
girl.
don't. I hope Mercedes don't pick up the line. Please keep your phone off the hook, okay?
Tony gonna eat her ass up. I know that much, and she just gonna sit there with her mouth open like she always do.
Mia, you talking to Mia?
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 You do not disrespect the CEO.
Oh, it's always an A at the end. It's very interesting.
All right, spell that for me.
It's so.
Oh, you can't spell. Damn.
Done.
I can't stand it.
Give her ass a Your Baby Can Read collection. Now go sit down and do that. Go be the CEO of that. I'm trying to figure this shit out
like,
for yourself.
I'm the best wrestler in the world. Like, it's
fuck
like,
wrestling, bitch. Let's have a spelling bee.
No.
Spell atmosphere, which is what you killing right now. I'll give you a hint. There's no AH at the end.
No, please. We gotta move on, please.
I'll let her breathe for tonight.
Triple H has introduced the WWE ID titles. Okay. Now I put a poll up on our Instagram as well as on my personal to see how pretty much how everybody felt about these new titles. It says WWE is adding a new layer to their developmental system with WWE ID, a program for independent wrestlers in schools, and Evolve, a new streaming show that will showcase ID wrestlers along with the next in line, aka NIL talents and existing members of the NXT roster who aren't being used on the show. Details about how WWE ID and Evolve will work have been doled out slowly. We should learn a lot more about the latter as we approach its March 5th premiere on Tubi.
Oh, shut up.
For WWE ID, we're told not long ago that matches between ID wrestlers would have stakes. Now, content chief officer and longtime architect of the developmental system, Paul Levesque, is showing off two prizes signees to the ID program will be fighting for, and it is the men's and women's WWE ID titles. The official WWE ID account told of these stakes very quickly. The first WWE ID champions will be determined in a tournament across the top independent promotions. The WWE ID championships will then be defended on the indies. Stay tuned to this account for more news. There was recently a report that Evolve would be getting its own titles as well. If those are indeed in addition to the WWE ID championships, things could get a bit confusing, but we'll withhold judgment until these belts are around a couple of weeks and until we actually get to see Evolve on March 5th. So what do y'all think?
I
think a lot of belts.
Yeah, it's a lot
of belts.
It's a big deal, but it's like you don't want it to take over the independent scene.
That's my thing. Point. That's why I kind of don't like it.
At any point, you don't want that to happen. We don't need a succession. This ain't the 1980s. Let
Fair
people do
enough.
what they do. We
Now,
still need that independent thing because everybody don't like television wrestling.
true, true. Now, my thing is this: I'm very curious as to how it will work. So, are these belts up for grabs all across the indies, and what does that mean for WWE and its current situation?
Oh
Because
shit, USA got another goal.
they have right now they have a situation with the supers where with these different wrestling promotions and these different wrestling schools. So is that what they mean by the indies? Or are they
That's
talking about the
ours.
indies?
Yeah,
They talk
I
about the
think
indies as a whole.
I
that's
guess
what
the
I need
indies
them
that
to.
they had
Well, from
adopted
what
up.
my comprehension again, until they explain this more, they made it seem like it was gonna technically go across all indies. I'm hoping it's only
Oh,
the indies that they're involved with, but it sounds like all indies, which again is which I don't like because again I think that trumps upon any championships that are already floating about the indies. And since that's quote unquote a belt from WWE, that would, I feel like that's going to trump another belt that's on the card, which I don't like.
so you think that because it's a WWE title, it'll take precedence when it comes to
Yes. And
booking,
I don't think
and
that's
you don't
fair.
want that?
Yes, I
Mm-mm.
don't
Okay,
think that's fair for
fair
the
enough.
indies, and I don't think that's fair for other talent who are on the indies who don't necessarily, have the drive to like go sign or go to like a bigger company. Like you got people like Effie or like Alley Cats or like Session Moth or like Joey Janela now. Joey Janela's probably never gonna go to like another company. I think the only company I could see him maybe going to is
Like
maybe a
GCW,
TNA down the road.
TNA, yeah.
And again, that's not like no shade. So that I worry and I about that because I feel like that's really entrenching on the indies when it doesn't need to be. The ID program, I was kind of like, okay, that's probably good, but I'm like at the same time, like, I'm not like the biggest fan, but I was like okay with this. But this seems like it's too much and it's two hands in the pot, in my opinion.
So I'm 50-50 on it. I'm okay if they don't encroach on the territory. And if they can make it so that these belts are equal to all the other titles, then that's fine. Um, I won't have a problem, but the promoters are gonna be the issue. So I'd still
And
say
indie
if
promoters
you're
are always an issue, so that's why I'm
yeah,
saying I know that that's what's going to happen because any indie promoters are just trash in general.
I don't think
I'm
that they
very worried
needed
about that.
titles for WWE ID. I didn't think they need titles for that.
No, they don't. I feel
Um
like that's really weird. Like the ID
because
program is
all of
enough.
the program that they're in, they're already always they're circulating these people throughout these promotions and schools. And I just felt like, well, they already have belts at Reality of Wrestling. So there's no need for you to have the WWE ID title and then go to Reality of Wrestling. And this being defended across the indies is interesting because WWE has control over their property. So, what happens when an unsigned individual gets the title? Are you considering signing them? Are they going to be a part of WWE? Like, is that I want to understand the logistics of this because outside of kayfabe, right? We know that this shit is predetermined. So, my thing is, how do you have the conversations for this person carrying around your branded moniker title if they have no intentions of ever setting foot in your company? How do you do that? How do you work this
Mm-hmm.
out? So we can have equal playing field across the board because you're going to have people like when you look at Ashe Wrestling, a lot of those people, if given the creative control that they desperately need, they could be great in WWE, but they're not going to like the corporate monkey that
Ooh.
WWE is. they're not going to like that. So they're probably not going to sign up for you to be in control of how they move and operate, and they're carrying your moniker title. You get what I'm saying? So I'm very intrigued as to how you plan on making this work. I also think you're doing a lot at the moment, and you still have work to do on this main roster.
Yeah. You need to worry about the
It's
woman
one,
that set all these random ass
yeah,
fucking indies
yeah, and
out.
I appreciate, no, for real, she's right, because I appreciate you trying to set it up for the future, right? You got 2 avenues coming back into the E. Well, 3, because you've got Evolve, which funnels into NXT, which will funnel into the main roster, right? And you've got WWE ID funneling talent in a circle of promotions that will eventually lead to main roster or NXT or even Evolve. You've got so many irons in the fire. What you should be focusing on is
What you got going
curating
on
your
now?
current talent on that main roster. It's not like, you're 100% set, because we have heard the rumors, and usually where there's smoke, there's fire, that the women on the main roster are not happy with the way things are going. Mania is almost 2 months from now. You have not booked a storyline that is major outside of probably Bianca and Jade. Okay, so let's take them out the story, right? You haven't booked anything for the women outside of that. And oftentimes what happens is you give us outside of titles. We're not talking about Charlotte and Tiff. We're not talking about Rhea and whoever her opponent is. We're talking about pure rivalries, because I guarantee you, if Randy's ass shows up in Toronto next weekend, Kevin and Randy are fighting at Mania. That's happening. Ain't no title involved in that. Karrion Kross and Sami Zayn, if they don't fight at Mania, it's happening within the next month or so. You have all of this stuff set up for the men, and it's almost a trickle-down effect, right? We don't know what's going to happen with Seth, CM Punk, and what's his name, Roman, but we know something happening, especially after that Royal Rumble. Something going to go down with the 3 of them at some point. We don't know exactly how it's going to happen, but we know something's going to happen. You feel me? Now, I don't know about y'all, but that's about what? That's 2, maybe 3 matches that could take up the card and eat up space. There's no other women's rivalries built. You ain't did shit for Lyra Valkyria in that Intercontinental Championship. She has no opponents. She has been champion for almost a month and a half, and she doesn't have anybody. Okay, Chelsea has been defending her title against Michin, which is fine, but at some point, Chelsea gonna have to move on from Michin. Okay, and the only other person you got built up enough to go up against her that ain't a top girl like Naomi or Bianca is B-Fab, which is fine. Fine, do whatever you're gonna do, but you know damn well B-Fab ain't winning that championship. You see what I'm saying? You got Zelina Vega over there, moved over to SmackDown. You cut Elektra Lopez. You cut Alba Fire. You cut Sonya. Over on Raw, you got Natalya over there. If Kairi Sane comes back from injury, you got Kairi. When Asuka come back, I don't know where she gonna end up, but when Asuka comes back, Asuka's there. You got Io Shirai or Io Sky. You got Liv. You got Raquel. You got Ivy, and you got Lyra Valkyria. And Maxine. Them your 9 girls on Raw. And then they might have Roxanne go over there. You have not built up nobody outside of Io Sky and Dakota, which I forgot about Dakota, my bad, to be anything. And to be fair, we all know Io not going to beat Rhea, but it's going to be a good match nonetheless. Dakota ain't been built up enough to go up against Rhea Ripley. So what are we doing? What's happening?
Something gotta give.
When you do good, you get your good points. You get a brownie point. Triple H, you gonna get your pat on the head. But motherfucker, you lacking in the women's department. And I'm sorry, but if you know this is over your head, if it's above you, then you find somebody who can do the damn job. Now, Stephanie is right there. Call her ass in there and make her help you. If you don't know what the fuck you doing. If you don't have that, then get Molly Holly's ass out of production and make her be over the women's division and have her start finding some writers to pitch some storylines for these women. Get them built up enough so watching a match at WrestleMania is worth our while, and we ain't cutting your ass deep on these motherfucking podcasts.
You got
and
Mickey
on
in the back. Ask Mickey.
Ask Mickey to do it. She right
Period.
there. Trish Stratus popping up every 2 seconds. If
Literally,
you gonna pay the
ask
bitch
her
to wrestle, ask her to do it. Like you got the resources. You just refuse to use it. Don't be like your predecessor. Don't be no fool. If you can't do it, then outsource this shit to the people who can. And let them work. Because at this point, what you gonna do when you start pulling them girls from NXT? Because I swear to God, if you bring Lash up there and don't do nothing with her, and you bring Jakara up and don't do nothing with her, you bring JC up and don't do nothing with her, Fallon can get it together if you pull Fallon together. You bring these girls up and you can't do nothing with them, then whose fault is it?
Sure.
Because you're not booking them. You had a prime opportunity with Dakota. And don't get me wrong, Dakota had got a concussion. She didn't injure her knee or nothing. She got a concussion. So if Dakota would have got the title, her being out with the concussion wouldn't have been a bad thing. See, this how Lyra's ass got the title and wasn't on TV for almost 2 weeks. And they had a match. The title
just looking.
Right. So I'm not going, when you right, you right, but when you wrong, you wrong. Especially if your women are on the roster saying, hey, we want better, we want more. Then give them what they asking for. If you could create storylines for Sami Zayn with Karrion Kross in the background while Sami's still fighting Kevin and being attacked by Drew McIntyre.
Now let me tell you this. I love Carmelo down, but I'm not here to watch him every week. Just talk shit.
Okay.
And pseudo win these matches. And him not getting nothing from it.
Me and Don was talking about this earlier because Tiffany Stratton came in and got immediately put at the top. Title contingency. Money in the Bank winner. Now she's champion while Carmelo has still been level grinding. Okay?
And it's not fair.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying everybody's path is the same, but if we're going to go bar for bar, move for move, Carmelo was already light years ahead of Tiffany.
Yeah.
He was ready. He was prepared.
He left being a champion.
Yeah.
To be there.
And you do owe Carmelo something. Now, he didn't have to be a champion, but he should have had substantial feuds, not just one-off fights. You know what I'm saying? It's okay, but like I said, he getting, like, I think me and Nicole and Don didn't notice it from the beginning. Like, he getting that Dolph Ziggler treatment. When Dolph Ziggler first got there, Dolph Ziggler kind of had that arrogant attitude. He had a lot of one-off matches, and then all of a sudden, he started getting a bunch of wins. And then the character work for Dolph started to come out. You know, it was given very much a mix of Mr. Ass and Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
But Carmelo's character is still where it is. Ain't nothing wrong with his character.
It just hadn't been boosted up.
You gotta give him something. Like, I think you should have a rivalry with Apollo Crews. You will boost Apollo Crews again, but you will also give Carmelo Hayes a proper rival. Okay?
I think Apollo's out injured still.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. I saw he was having surgery. So if Apollo wasn't injured, I would have him go up against Apollo. Since Apollo's out, let's see.
Hell, use Santos. Shit.
You can use Santos. Santos right there. He's not going up against anybody.
Extra bodies. And he can be like, well, I don't give a fuck about you and your mariachi band.
There you go.
I'm still gonna beat your ass either way it is. Like,
And there it is. And
it's
there's no
me.
title involved. It just is. It's just workhorse work. It's all about how you set it up. And like, I'm sorry, but like, if you're gonna give Tiffany, you shoehorn Tiffany in there with Nia, because if we're being fair, Nia did not need Tiffany Stratton. She didn't need her. So you shoehorned her in so Tiffany could get a boost and immediately become the fan favorite because people already hate Nia.
Don't like Nia.
You know what I'm saying? So I saw what you was doing, and that's fine. But at the same time, like, you got to find a way to book it. And that's why you're supposed to have a meeting of the minds. I don't know how things work back there, but I will say you need to have a diverse pot of people back there. And this is where you might still be listening to President Trump about DEI, but DEI is not just about Black people. DEI is about people in general. You need to have a diverse, mixed pot of people because why? Everybody don't think the same, babe. Everybody don't think the same. Everybody have different thoughts. Everybody have a different way of presenting things. And if we're all sitting here collectively in this room, sometimes groupthink comes into play, which can cause you to dull your shine a little bit. But if you got enough confidence to say it with your whole chest, you can have some real shit going that can make things fun. Like, you have to start listening to your producers and working with the talent in terms of creative, because you could really get some good hidden gems where the talent is not strong in terms of writing a script or making sure their character work is worth it. The writers can do that for them.
Scored.
Mm-hmm.
The writers can do that for them. The producers can help them work on that. Like, you gotta learn how to use your people in tandem. And like I said, I'm not sure of how it works, but it's coming off like there's not enough conversation between y'all as a whole. Everybody's not in on the game, and everybody needs to in order for it to be working.
Yeah.
So
It's just
I don't
the
know.
way
It's
she's
weird.
up.
I feel like it's not like there isn't any effort, but
I'm gonna say
I
that
mean,
right now.
I said it the day before.
I think there
A couple
is
days ago. Like, you
effort, but I
gotta,
also don't think it's the right effort.
yeah. Like, he going slow for sure, but you gotta put some pep in your step just
Yeah.
a tad.
Yeah.
Like, you could have
it's
been
like, all
had
right,
Jay
man, like come
Cargill
on now.
shit.
Like,
The Jay Cargill shit should have ramped up a month ago.
but
Yeah.
also at the same, well, only reason I'm giving that a little bit of leeway because it's like we don't know how she was, because I low key starting to think she was actually injured. So
But I'm not talking about like her coming back. I'm talking about
Just
actually
the
feeding the
story moving
storyline.
forward.
I think
Like,
They
which
should have
is a
presented the
mistake on
video
his
last
end.
week,
I think
like
he
a
just
couple months
wanted to
ago.
wait till she was able to come back and do something, which is stupid. And it should
I
have
mean,
been like, okay, like they could have just got the ball rolling. Like, we low key should have had whoever done it revealed already. If
that's
we're
what I'm
gonna be
saying.
frank.
But and you know
But you
what?
know
I
what?
don't
I feel
mind
like it
us
should be
waiting.
going the same route. It should have did. They did it for Big Cass and Enzo.
Exactly.
It should have got a little bit sloppy
Exactly.
like that.
Somebody should have leaked it. Where is NXT Anonymous when you need them, bitch? Like,
Oh my
what?
god, where have they been? They've been really quiet lately.
I don't know. I don't know. But we
Because
need
usually
that hacker back.
they've been messy. They haven't
Yes.
been. They must
They
be in
ain't been
jail
messy in
with
a
the
while.
regular Anonymous.
Not they in jail.
Not in
Jesus.
jail.
Child. But I just that was the one thing. I'm just like, where is, like, we ain't heard nothing about it. They done defended the titles in multiple places. They ain't saying nothing. Commentary brings it up. Bianca and them they just have a one-off, like, we ain't got no info. They like, we ain't got nothing. I'm like, what the fuck you mean?
One of y'all got something. Somebody's shit stinking. I don't know whose it is. But
Somebody got something. Okay. But anywhoosies, we got one more topic because Elimination Chamber is not until next week. There's only 4 guaranteed matches for the show, which I'm pretty sure they're going to add a 5th probably by Friday, seeing as how The Rock is going to be there this Friday. We'll see what that's about. But for now, I'll give you a quick rundown of Elimination Chamber. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn have an unsanctioned match. The girls are going to be fighting inside the chamber. Roxanne, Bayley, Naomi, Bliss, Liv, and Bianca are all going to be fighting in the chamber for a shot at Rhea Ripley's title. And Damian Priest, Logan Paul, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, John Cena, and CM Punk will all be fighting for a shot at Cody Rhodes' title. And then there's supposed to be a tag team match that is scheduled for Toronto with Trish Stratus and Tiffany Stratton going up against Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. But they haven't made it official yet, but she did ask Tiffany last week if she wanted to have a tag match with the girls, and Tiffany agreed. So we'll have to wait and see. So now we're going into Black History Month. It's Black History Month, people, and because Black history is American history, you need to know your history, especially when it comes to wrestling. Because if it wasn't for women like Babs Wingo, Marva Scott, and Ethel Johnson, there would be no Naomi, no Jade Cargill, and no Bianca Belair. Now, who is Babs, Marva, and Ethel? Babs, Marva, and Ethel were sisters, and they wrestled in the 1950s. And if you are a big wrestling fan, then you will tune in to Queen of the Ring, because Naomi will be playing Ethel Johnson in that movie, and her sister Babs will also be represented in that movie because they were a tag team champion at one point. Okay? Now, Babs, Ethel, they all started wrestling at the tender age of 16. They got discovered, and during that time, it was illegal for women to wrestle on the main wrestling circuit, and it was also highly racist. So, double-edged sword there. However, Ethel, Babs, and Marva all were able to pave their own way in wrestling. Marva having probably one of the biggest spots because she was younger. She got to wrestle a little bit longer. She wrestled until 1979. Ethel Johnson had the biggest pull, which because she went up against her trainer and mentor, Mildred Burke, I believe her name is. If I'm saying her
Yeah, it
name
is Mildred
correctly.
Burke.
That was her mentor and trainer, and she had a really big match with her because Mildred was the champion. She it was actually Babs who wrestled her. My bad. Babs wrestled her in 1953, and this was the first time, and she was the first interracial women's champion. She wrestled Mildred Burke in front of a crowd of 9,000 people, and she was able to get it in there. Babs was also in a tag team with her sister Marva. They were able to be billed as the first Negro women's tag team champions, and the crowd didn't know that they were related, but they actually were related. Ethel, Marva, and Babs were all real sisters. They were born in Decatur, Georgia. Babs was the oldest. Ethel was the middle child, and Marva was the youngest. Marva was billed as she was a blonde bombshell. She dyed her hair blonde. She bleached it, and she used to be called the Black American Cat, as she would be referred to. Ethel was, a little bit more regal. She kept her hair pretty standard, and she was really statuesque looking woman. Babs was a little bit on the thicker side, darker skinned woman, and all three of them were very, very beautiful women and very hard hitting wrestlers. They all were judo trained. They all knew how to fight, really knew how to fight. But they all learned hands. Yes. they all had real skill, okay? And then they ended up getting into pro wrestling, and they did this at the tender age of 16. Okay, so you have to remember they not only were wrestling, but they are teenagers when they're wrestling, and they've been wrestling their whole lives. All right, so let me make sure I get all this information right because I wrote it down, and I do not want to get it wrong. So hold tight. Let me get my notes. Make sure I get all my notes together. Now, Ethel retired at the age of 41. She wanted to raise her kids and she wanted to be there for them more. And this was over a decade after she had began her career. She was 41 years old when she retired. In 2021, she was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in the Legacy Wing. In 2023, Babs, Marva, and Ethel were all inducted into the Women's Wrestling Hall of Fame. Now, in 2003, Babs and Marva both died. Babs died first, Marva died after Babs. And then Ethel passed in 2018 of a heart attack. She had heart disease. They all were inducted into the Women's Wrestling Hall of Fame posthumously. So they never got to really see the fruits of their labor. Remember a quote from Ethel, and she said, "You really know you've made it when you wrestle in Madison Square Garden." And unfortunately for her, wrestling for women, period, was illegal back then. But not only that, but she was African American, and that also was illegal. She was not allowed to wrestle. So she never got the chance to wrestle in Madison Square Garden. But because of her and her sisters, she cleared the path for wrestlers like Jacqueline, Jazz, Kong, and now we have women like Bianca Belair, Naomi, and Jade Cargill, Willow Nightingale, Mercedes Moné. Without the work of these three women and so many more, there would not be a women's wrestling today. So, I tell you that Black history is American history. I mean that. There's a certain level of work you have to put in to be recognized and to be seen. And these three women were touted as the teen sensation of the wrestling circuit. And they praised Marva, they praised Ethel and Babs for their skill. If I recall, Ethel was the first woman to do a standing, what was it? What do they call it?
I don't remember. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Hold on. I wrote it down. Okay. She was the first person to do a standing kick, drop kick. She was the first woman to do it. And she was the first woman to do a variation of the flying head scissors. So the girl who's out here eating, y'all. But that is it's a little snippet of Ethel, Babs, and Marva Scott's story. I encourage you all to go to Amazon Prime, rent the movie Lady Wrestler. You'll see a bunch of Black wrestlers in there, Black women wrestlers who were paving the way. And you've got Sweet Georgia Brown as well, and so many others who made a lot of sacrifices to be able to allow for the girls we see now to be able to be seen, be properly paid, and to have the overwhelming support that they do have nowadays. So those are your Black wrestling facts for this week. And I hope you go look it up. And don't forget, Queen of the Ring is coming out very soon, and you'll want to go take a look at that because not only are you going to see Naomi in that film, but Britt Baker is also in there, as is Toni Storm, and so many others. It's a movie about Mildred Burke and her rise in wrestling when it was illegal for women to wrestle, and Black women were an integral part of that scene as well, as we always are. So, on that note, we are finished. We are done. If you want to follow us on our social media, you definitely can. You can follow us on Twitter at Down for the Count 19 or on Instagram at D4TC_podcast. And unless Don or Nicole have anything else to add, we're gonna get out of here.
No, great little Black History moment. Looks like
Mhm.
God. I don't understand hockey. What is going? I should actually pay attention more for my benefit. But I loved learning that about the woman who I can't remember. It is one of the sisters that Ashe Wrestling was trying to find,
hmm
but they unfortunately found out later hand that she had passed away already a
hmm
few years ago.
hmm
I feel like it was Ethel for some
All of
reason.
them have passed away.
Yeah, so all of them unfortunately are in the great big ring in the sky now. But whichever was the last one, they were trying to
Marva.
find her because they were trying to have her come to one of the shows, but unfortunately they already learned that she already passed. So whichever I'm assuming it was probably the last one that just
Yeah.
passed away. But um I'm excited for the Queen of the Ring. Tony cut a promo yesterday on NXT.
hmm
And then she did a quick little plug of the movie because she is in it. Tony's in it. Tony Storm is in it. Um, Camille, someone else who's in the Iced from Hell list at AEW is in
Damn.
it. Naomi is in it. Someone else. There's quite a few wrestlers that are in it. So it's
So
Naomi,
it's
Tony,
Naomi, Tony, Britt
Camille.
Baker, Camille. Um,
Holy shit.
that's it. I'm looking
The
at the
person that
cast.
Tony is playing they ain't dead yet.
Debbie Nichols is who Britt Baker is playing, and
Yeah.
Clara Mortensen is who Tony Storm is playing.
Here she is,
Um,
1988.
Francesca Eastwood is playing Mae Young. That's interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Ethel Johnson is being played by Naomi, and her sister is being played by an actress named Damaris Lewis. She's playing Babs Wingo, which is Ethel Johnson's older sister.
Yeah. So I'm assuming
Um,
she's probably gonna have more lines.
yeah. Josh Lucas is playing Billy Wolf. Billy Wolf was the booker for NWA, and that's how Ethel and Marva became the NWA Tag Team Champions. He's very, very big on the sisters and letting them run roughshod. They wrestled very stiff, so you could easily get hurt by wrestling one of them, and a lot of people didn't want to because they were very strong and they wrestled very stiff. But Billy Wolf was very high on them, and he wanted to change the game and put women's wrestling in front of people. And he was very, very high on the Wingo sisters, and of course Mildred. Mildred had to prove herself the most out of everybody. She set the tone. But yeah,
Can't wait.
I don't know when it's supposed to come out. They did film
This
this.
is tickets on sale the 26th, and it comes out on the 7th of March.
Oh, it comes out in March.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's about 2 weeks away.
All right. So I hope y'all go and see it. You know, treat it like you treated, Iron Claw. I don't think it's gonna be as sad as Iron Claw, but go see it, go support it, and if you can, it is Black History Month. Go over to Amazon Prime and go look up Lady Wrestler. I promise you'll learn a lot about Black women in wrestling from Lady Wrestler. It's going to tell you about some people you can't even search and find on Google at this point. So make sure you guys rate, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in our next one. Bye.
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 Down for the count.